Okay, so here's the deal. You might have seen the ASU vid where he had the legends up on the screen and he was like, hard buff, light nerf, blah, 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 blah.
I think Bloodhound, slight nerf. Gibby, slight nerf. Lifeline, rework.
We're going to do something similar with a tier list, okay? And I think it makes a lot of sense for us to do this because ASU is, you know, one of the most famous Apex Legends player in the world, if not the most famous. He's incredibly talented at the game. People really care about what he has to say. And I am a bald comedian who has been playing the game for over 6,000 hours, and no one gives a shit what I have to say. So I think it makes perfect sense for us to do this. But the first thing we need to do is we need to edit what these things are called, right? Okay? So at the top, we're going to have hard nerf. These are the strongest legends in the game. These are the ones who are most oppressive. These are the ones who really need to be looked at tremendously. Then we're going to have soft nerf. This means that only like one thing about them needs to be changed. One or, you know, maybe one and a half thing. These are the legends that ultimately need to have a little bit less. We're going to have the balanced legends. These are the legends that are perfectly fine where they're at. I think that, you know, good where they stand. They're fine. We don't need, if we do change anything, maybe it's like one number or something like that. Then we're going to have a soft buff. This means that the legend is good, but it is not necessarily in the best place. Finally, we're going to have complete rework. These are the legends that need to be looked at more. These legends need to be buffed, completely changed. For the love of God, help them. So the first thought we got is Ashe. I'm going to put Ashe in the balanced category. I think Ashe is a perfectly viable legend. Her tactical fires a tad slow, but you can hold it down. It'll do like a little whirr, and it'll travel a lot faster, which I think is perfectly adequate. Her TP is very cool. It can get you out of certain situations. It can help you rotate to a place that, you know, your opponents weren't expecting. Her passive, when I first saw her passive, I thought it was overpowered, but it's not. It's very viable. You know, you can see the death boxes appear on the map, so you know where the people are, which is great for maps like Stormpoint and Olympus, which are fucking gigantic and very difficult to find people. And then you can scan the death boxes and ping where the enemies are, but it's not wall hacks, it's just a ping. It's like, hey, enemy over here. I think she's fine. I think she's perfectly balanced. Bangalore needs a soft buff. I know there's that glitch with the Bangalore smoke that people have been yelling about for fucking ages. I don't really care about that because half the cast counters Bangalore smoke. You know what I mean? Hard counters, soft counters, hard counters, soft counters, soft counters, soft counters, soft slash hard counters, hard counters, soft counters, minimal counter with the fences. If you put a fence in the smoke, it runs over it. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 legends out of 21 that counter Bangalore smoke.
Hey guys, Editor Kaiser here. I forgot to add Horizon to that list of names because her ultimate gives you wall hacks if you're sucking someone in. So if someone's in the smoke and you throw an ultimate in the middle of smoke and they get sucked in, hard counters. So it's not 10, it's actually 11, which is over half of the cast. Which helps my case even more. Shut the fuck up about the Bangalore smoke glitch. No one cares.
On top of that, there's a literal item in the game that lets you counter the Bangalore smoke. And it's not rare. It's golden, but you can find it fucking everywhere, right? Almost every game I come across at least 5 digi-threats. My problem is the fact that because of the way bullet suppression works in the game, her double time can get canceled if you are physically hitting her with the bullets. When I played Bangalore to 1,000 kills, multiple times, my double time momentum would get absolutely canceled because they managed to get a lock on me and start hitting me with the bullets. And like every other legend in this game, I would just slow down. And if enough people were shooting me, I would slow down to the point where I almost fucking stopped. This needs to be changed. Next up is Bloodhound. I'm going to put my bias of wall hacks in this game aside and say that in terms of power, Bloodhound needs a soft nerf. When the game first came out, Bloodhound was okay. The wall hacks were not as important in Season 0, which is really weird to say. Like, it's kind of hard, but if you think back to Season 0, Bloodhound was not in the meta. Mostly because their scan was trash. It had a very small cone, had a very small distance. All it did was take a snapshot of the enemy. That snapshot only lasted half a second. The Wild Beast Hunt ultimate was like, it was trash. It was only like maybe, I think, 20 seconds or something like that. It also had an FOV bug. It would expand your FOV and then drop your frame rates when you went into it. Over the years, they have buffed and buffed and buffed and buffed and buffed Bloodhound to the point where now Bloodhound is incredibly oppressive, especially whenever you're with a coordinated team. The Bloodhound scans are so dumb. Get Bloodhound scanned. The scan stretches to fucking bumfuck Egypt. You're scanned for like, I think like a second and a half maybe, or something like that. So it's easy to see the direction that you're going in. It's easy to see where you are. I think that if they kept the current range of the scan, but nerfed the duration back to a snapshot, I think that would be better. Because you still get the information you need, but you don't get to just follow people around the battlefield for free. So I think bringing it back to a snapshot would put Bloodhound in the balance category. I think their ultimate is fine where it is. I think there's still a problem with frames, but you could just turn off FOV scaling in the settings and you'll be just fine. Gas Dad is actually balanced. I, for the longest time, thought that Gas Dad was going to never be balanced. I thought he was always either going to be incredibly oppressive and broken, or he was going to be so fucking weak that no one wanted to play him. And it turns out that I was wrong. Turns out that I was wrong. Gas Dad is actually incredibly balanced now. The ability to shoot out his traps provides a lot of counterplay. If you go to walk into a building and there's just fucking gas everywhere, throw a couple nades in, blow up the traps, and short of his ultimate, you're pretty good. So yeah, I think Caustic is perfectly balanced where he is. Crypto needs a buff. So here's the thing, right? The drone, when you throw it out, should have an infinite travel distance. I don't know why they decided that 2 inches from your face was a good enough travel distance for the Crypto drone. It should be you press the button and Crypto throws it and it hits a straight line and just keeps going. You could even have, I'm not gonna lie to you, you could have a heel wheel style thing that Cryptos can hold their tactical button and move their mouse to select one of the wheel, something on the wheel that causes the drone to behave differently. Causes it to go back and forth in an area, causes it to go in a circle in an area, causes it to go high up and aim down. Shit, I don't know. Causes it to go into the ground. Could you imagine if you could like use Crypto's drone to like send it into the ground and then it flips upward and then it's just kind of like sitting in there and then people walk over it and it scans them? Dude, Crypto would be a fucking monster if you just had that customizability. But that's not the only problem with Crypto. The other problem with Crypto is that his passive and his ultimate both rely on his tactical to work. Now, the EMP ultimate is great. I feel like a good passive for a hacker would be to be able to see where the kill leader is. You know, I think when Crypto looks at banners, like when everybody else looks at banners, right? They see the blah 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 blah. And when you go into Crypto's drone and you look at the banner, it says, yeah, you know, this many squads in the area. Fuck that. Fuck that. That's great. If I go into the drone, look at a banner, keep that. That's great. I want Crypto himself to be able to look at the banners and see where the kill leader is on the map. Like it's a recreation of the mini map, of the map, you know, when you press Alt, it brings up the map. It's a recreation, and there's just a skull on the map to show you where the kill leader is. I think that'd be fucking sick. That would be so cool, and it would give Crypto so much viability in the meta if we did those changes. This is basically a rework. I'm gonna put him in this category. Fuse. Fuse needs a soft buff. Fuse is good. Knuckle Cluster is good. Passive's good. Ultimate is fucking garbage. I love Fuse's ultimate. When I was grinding him to 1,000 kills, I got plenty of kills with it. I think it's great. I think that being able to get out of the fire as easily as most people can is just kind of shit. I think that Fuse, when Fuse activates his ultimate, the fire needs to be heightened. And then, and here's the kicker, the fire slowly closes in. As the fire gets smaller, it does less and less damage, right? But instead of it just eventually evaporating, it traps them, right? It like travels inward until it gets smaller, and then it, you know, does damage, you know? And you can have it do like very small damage or whatever whenever they get... My point is that that is really cool. Now, as to why the fire has wall hacks, I couldn't tell you. Do I think it should go away? Yeah, I mean, I'd be biased if I said no, because I don't like wall hacks in general. Gibraltar. I hate this fucking character. He's not balanced. He needs a nerf. My problem is, I don't know what the nerf should be. Got bleed through on his shield, on his gun shield. We got the bleed through. Gibraltar's so powerful in the 1v1 that it's really difficult to kill a decent Gibraltar. If you're on, let's say you're on Horizon, and you face a Gibraltar of the same skill level as you, you're losing that fight 9 times out of 10. Like, only Gibraltar is the only character in the game that can straight eat an entire carbine clip and then live through another half of a carbine clip. None of the other legends with Fortify can do this, by the way. Caustic can't live as long, and Newcastle can't live as long. The reason Gibraltar's so powerful is because of that arm shield. That arm shield takes up, I mean, 50 damage doesn't seem like a lot, but that's a lot of damage. That is a shitload of damage. And with the regeneration rate on it, you know, I would say the regeneration rate's probably a problem. I don't know. I think Gibraltar is so goddamn strong. I almost want to put him in the hard nerf section. But again, I don't know how I would nerf him. I have no idea. Without completely changing the character, I don't know how I would nerf Gibraltar into being less oppressive. Because he's incredibly... I'm fairly certain... I didn't watch ALGs, but I'm fairly certain you're still playing Gibraltar, even after Newcastle came out. Because Newcastle just doesn't provide the same invulnerability that Gibraltar does. Horizon, balanced. Absolutely. Horizon is just fine where she's at. I think after her gravity lift nerf and then subsequent buff, it was really cool to witness. Now you can shoot her as she's going up. Her strafe is not as powerful, she's not as accurate, and she can't stay up there for 500 years. Overall, I think they did a very good job with Horizon. Lifeline! Lifeline needs help. Lifeline needs so much help. Wait, hold on. Hold on. I think Lifeline might be the most useless character in the game.
Fuck is the actual purpose of Lifeline in Apex Legends in Season 13. Let me explain. So basically what I am getting at is that Lifeline's entire kit has literally been added to the game in separate instances, and Season 13 is the final nail in the coffin for Lifeline mains. Unless she is getting a rework or buff, which fingers crossed because Lifeline is goated. Lifeline originally had faster revives and faster use of meds and shields. Makes sense, she's a medic. And then they decided to add faster revives and faster use of meds and shields to Gibby within his dome. Cool, we can live with that. 2 characters mostly used as supports, kinda makes sense. Then they removed faster heals from Lifeline and Gibby, eventually giving this feature to the gold armor instead, which ends up turning into what we have now, double heals for small heal items. Okay, I get it. Kind of OP to have fast heals in the game in general. At least she still has her faster revives. She is a medic after all. Fast forward some time, Lifeline's faster revives now removed. However, Gibby gets to keep his faster revives, because that makes fucking sense. The cunt with everything already gets to keep it, but the actual medic doesn't. Moving forward, they removed her revive shield because it's too broken. Fast forward to now, and Newcastle has a revive shield that he can move with and revive at the exact same time. What the fuck? Lifeline's care package, as useless as it's always been, gets a little tweak. You'll now get items your squad needs thanks to smart loot. Okay, we can deal with that. Comes in handy occasionally. Definitely better than what we already had. Fast forward forward again to right now, smart loot bins coming to Season 13. Get loot based off your current loot within these smart loot bins. What the fuck is the point of the care package when smart loot bins are literally the exact same thing except faster? Can someone explain to me how they have caused one of the most iconic characters in Apex Legends to become completely useless leading into a new season? She wasn't hard done by enough that they just went ahead and said, you know what, let's remake Lifeline and turn the rest of her abilities into items or things in the game that anyone can use.
Oh, Chopper, she still has her hair drying.
Yeah, and you know what? Actually, I can't be fucked getting into it. Fuck you.
He's completely right, though. He's completely right. And here's the thing. I hate saying it, but Lifeline's the worst legend in the game now. She literally is. She's terrible. Everything in Lifeline's kit is given to the rest of the game, and her heal drone is tantamount to useless. You used to be able to use her heal drone in the Storm, which I think they need to bring back. Right? You used to be able to use her heal drone in the Storm, and it would help you survive storm damage. But now, after 2 ticks in the Storm, the heal drone goes away. The heal drone is on I think a 35 or 40 second cooldown, but the heal drone's on a long ass cooldown. Her care package is on a long ass cooldown. Her heal drone heals faster now, which is great, but it still doesn't last that long. Tap resing seems cool. It seems incredibly useful, but in my opinion, and this is just me, no legend should have a passive that is dependent on the rest of their squad doing something. And as far as Apex Legends goes, the only character in the game that has a passive, their only passive, dedicated to their teammates doing something is Lifeline. She is the only fucking one. Give her back her fast res, for one. Let the fast res work with tap resing, and then she needs an additional passive that lets her hold more meds and shields. She should be able to hold the OG backpack system. Do you guys remember this if you played it before? The OG backpack system was 3 big meds and 6 small meds. Lifeline should get that as a passive. She should be able to hold as many meds as possible. Her revive should be faster, and keep the fucking tap res in. I don't want to hear nobody's bullshit about how, oh, but it's not fair if I knock someone and Lifeline taps them and they get picked up instead of in 5 seconds instead of 7. I don't give a fuck. Lifeline is so fucking worthless right now. She needs all the help she can get, okay? So there's that. Let her fast revive apply to her. So if she's got a gold knockdown shield, instead of 10 seconds, she can get up in 7 seconds. I understand this is like 37 passives in one character, which is one of the problems with Gibby, but Lifeline literally needs to be able to be the combat medic. And as far as her care package goes, you can leave it as the smart loot. I don't mind. But I think that it should also act as a replicator. So it comes down, the smart loot comes up, you take the smart loot off, and then you can use her care package as a replicator. That would be so fucking good. It would skyrocket Lifeline, and if I made another video like this, I'd probably have to put her in the hard nerf category. But I don't give a fuck, dude. Lifeline needs help. Loba. Loba needs a soft buff. For one thing, Respawn, for the love of God, how does that bracelet break every season? That's ridiculous. That needs to be fucking fixed. Second, her black market should allow her to retrieve teammates' banners. Why the fuck is Loba considered a support legend if she cannot help her teammates out in more ways than just getting them more loot? Let the black market have a special place, and you can do it just for Loba. I don't mind. But just for Loba, her black market has a special place where she could pick up her teammates' banners. Oh, but that would be broken. You need to have it take up her item slots. No, fuck that. Okay? We're not doing that. Because Crypto can just send his little into there and grab banners. Wraith, Pathfinder, Octane, Horizon, Mirage even, can all get into or Valkyrie can all get in there, grab the banner, and get out before anybody knows what the fuck, okay? Loba's a support legend. Make her feel like a support legend. Mad Maggie is probably one of the most balanced legends I've ever seen. When I first saw the wall hacks that Maggie gave, I was kind of irritated, but you know what? They're not that bad. Her passive is really fun and effective, although with the removal, with the Mastiff being in the care package now, I think they might need to put another shotgun in the game to kind of give Maggie a little bit more of a balance, make her passive feel less useless, also because there's just way too many fucking Eva 8s, and I'm tired of seeing the goddamn thing. That's another video for another day. Is Mirage. My baby. This might surprise a lot of people, but I think Mirage just needs a soft buff. Is he useless? Kind of. His Invisares is pretty cool. It's very useful. His new ultimate is cool. It's very useful. Controlling the drones is cool, is very useful. A few things. What makes people not like Mirage is that he's a solo legend through and through. None of his abilities, except for his passive for rezzing, helps the team that much. But in general terms, Mirage is fine where he's at and it fits the character, but he needs some small things here and there. I think for his ultimate, he should go invisible for longer than half a second. So I think that when he pops Encore, he needs to go invisible for a full second so that his reposition can be a little bit less predictable. I think that the clones need to fire fake bullets. So the bullets don't hurt, but they do fire fake bullets. They actually swap guns when he swaps guns. And when he's popping a shield battery, they need to be popping a shield battery. Also, there was a removal of a certain feature when the rework came out. Why the fuck? Respawn, I'm talking directly to you here, okay? I might clip this and put it on Twitter. Respawn, why does Mirage's clones no longer show where a caustic is when I send it into caustic gas? I don't know if this is a bug or if it's intended, but for the love of God, please fix this. Mirage, when Mirage's clones get damaged by any ability, they show where the person who damaged the clone is, except for caustic gas. This makes no sense, and it needs to be changed, for the love of God. Octane, perfectly balanced. I think everything about him is fine. Honestly, I don't think there's anything. I've heard people talk about how they think his stem should do a little less damage to him, but I think it just forces smarter plays with the stem. So yeah, Octane's fine where he is. Pathfinder just needs a different passive. There's so many ideas that have come out in the past. Letting him use his eye as a 2-to-4 lens when he doesn't have a weapon equipped. Letting him use his grapple to grapple teammates toward him so that he can revive them better. Letting him heal on zip lines. Letting him traverse zip lines faster. Like, there's so many suggestions out there at this point. Like literally, Respawn, I want you to just put all the suggestions you've got on the wall and throw a fucking dart and see where it lands. Because for God's sakes, one of those, any of those, is going to be better than what we have now. The changes to his grapple are fine. They nerfed him into the ground. They buffed the grapple back to a usable sensibility. The ultimate is fine. And you know what? Honestly, keep the passive where when he scans beacons, he gets his ultimate back, and it reduces the cooldown on his ultimate. I think that's a really nice feature, especially for an ultimate like Pathfinder's, where it's just a zip line from one place to another. I mean, you're vulnerable on it. Everybody can see where you're at. You're an easy trajectory to be shot at. You know, I think that the ultimate being having to reduce cooldown and being instantly brought back by scanning beacons is a great passive. But he does need something. He needs something. Because at this point, the passive feels unimpactful in most cases. And normally, I only ever scan beacons when I'm playing Pathfinder in pubs just because of that passive. Rampart. Rampart went from being one of the most useless legends in this game to honestly needing a soft nerf. And I can't believe I'm saying this because the Sheila's charge up time is damn near instantaneous. Sheila herself basically has no recoil. The walls are a lot better. What would I nerf on Rampart? Honestly, I don't know. I don't know if I would nerf anything on Rampart, if I'm being honest with you. She's not balanced. She's kind of in between soft, like she needs a nerf. But I think the nerf is like literally so soft. Like, I think reducing the bullet damage of Sheila, right? What does it do per bullet right now? 14 rounds, 14 damage per round. So I think drop this and a 2x headshot multiplier. I think drop this down to 12 and make this 1.5 and she'll be pretty balanced. Revenant, I think Revenant's balanced where he is. He's a bit of a pain in the ass, but that's fine. I've seen some people say he should be able to crawl upside down, which would be hilarious, but it's not necessary. Seer is balanced. No, Seer needs a soft nerf. The amount of time he can scan your health is stupid. I think it needs to... is it still 8 seconds? I think it's still 8 seconds. It needs to be brought down to 5. It needs to be 5 seconds. Now, here's the thing, right? I think that the health bar scan should be 5 seconds, and the actual scan about where they are should be like 2 seconds. 1 second even, if that. I complain a lot about Bloodhound, but the reason Bloodhound's like 1.5 second scan shit is so powerful is because Bloodhound just looks at an area, scans, and it picks up everybody in that area. Whereas Seer has to aim that fucking tunnel of love of his. Other than that, I think he's fine. I think if the scans last a little bit less, then he would definitely be he'd be more balanced. Valkyrie, this is hard. Most legends in the game are easy to view from multiple standpoints to make determinations like I'm making here. But with Valkyrie, she's way stronger in competitive. I think Valkyrie needs a hard nerf. Here's the thing about Valkyrie. You're in a fight with a Valkyrie. You hit her for 5.5 bullets. She instantly flies up on the roof, resets, and then has immediate high ground. Valkyrie's ability to take high ground for free is fucking ridiculous. I mean, instantly, a Valkyrie can just have high ground with no rhyme or reason and just, I mean, absolutely dominate. And I don't think that's fair. But the thing is when I say she needs a hard nerf, I don't know how to nerf her. You know, similar to Gibby, I don't know how to nerf her, but she's so oppressive. The ability to gain high ground for no reason, scan from the sky, redeploy every 3 minutes. Oh, really? It's 3 minutes? It does not feel like 3 minutes. Is her redeploy higher than a jump tower, or is it the same height? I think it needs to be lower than a jump tower, personally. I know jump towers are different heights, but I think it needs to be more similar to, you guys know the geyser on World's Edge? How high that sends you? I honestly think that's what her redeploy needs to be. I think that would put her in the balance category. Maybe increase the cooldown on her tactical. Nah, her tactical is not really a problem, I guess. Yeah. So something needs to be done about how fast she could take high ground for sure. And then you need to shorten the shit out of her redeploy. Watson, soft. I think her fences need to come back. I think her pylons need to come back faster. And I think she needs to be able to store 6 instead of 4. I'll tell you this, if this is true, this needs to be increased. She needs to have more range. This is fine. This is fine. This is fine. But this needs to have more range. And this needs to be decreased down to 10 seconds. She should be getting pylons like every few seconds. And when she's in her ultimate and it supercharges it, that should go down to like 5 seconds. Her trophy should come back after 2.5 minutes instead of 3. And she should be able to recharge 1 shield per 1 second like Octane does. All of these changes I'm saying make her a much more viable legend. Honestly, that's not a soft buff. That's not even a complete rework, though. That's like a hard buff. Wraith. Oh, Lord. Wraith is balanced. But for the love of God, fix her fucking tactical, dude. When I was grinding Wraith to 1,000 kills, the amount of times that I would fucking get killed inside of my tactical were ridiculous, man. And the fact that it gets canceled if you just, like, touch a wall is even stupider. Oh my fucking god. I would actually say give her a soft buff, because I think the cast time needs to be reduced a bit. I think right now it's, let's see if we can get a number. I think it should take 1 second instead of 1.25. I think it should just be 1 second instead of 1.25. Yeah, so this part needs to be removed. It should just be 1 second. It should just be this, done. It shouldn't be this and then this. It should be this, in. Because you get killed trying to activate this fucking thing a lot. Oh, yeah, never mind. This passive needs to fuck off. This passive is one of the most useless fucking things in the game. I honestly think Wraith has the least useful passive in this entire game. You will die. I have seen clips of people dying to a Kraber shot, and then Wraith's passive kicks in.
There might be a sniper in the area.
They need to fix that passive. It's not a bad passive, but it needs to be fixed hella badly. Finally, at the end of the line, we come to the newest legend in Season 13. That is Mr. Newcastle. I think Newcastle's pretty balanced. I haven't seen anything that's brought me one way or the other. And from playing Newcastle and playing against Newcastle, watching other people play Newcastle, I think he's fine. I don't think he needs anything changed to him. There may be a point in the future where I change my mind on that, assuming nothing about him changes. He's just a balanced legend overall. They did a pretty good job. It kind of like with Maggie last season, they did a pretty good job of releasing a legend who is, just in general, just balanced. I think it's fine. I think he's perfectly healthy for the game. So that is my Legends tier list. Valkyrie, hard nerf. Bloodhound, Gibraltar, Rampart, and Seer need soft nerfs. The most balanced legends in the game are Ashe, Caustic, Horizon, Maggie, Octane, Revenant, and Newcastle. Soft buff needs to be given to Bangalore, Fuse, Loba, Mirage, Pathfinder, and Wraith. A hard buff needs to be given to Watson. Crypto needs a complete rework. He is still fucking useless, slow, and trash. And for the God's sakes, please somebody help Lifeline. She is 100 leagues under the sea. She is drowning. She has been reaching up to us for so long. Please somebody help Lifeline for the love of God. And that is going to be my Legends tier list for Season 13. Hope you guys all enjoyed it. And if you're watching this on the YouTube, leave a comment and let me know what you think about the tier list. What do you think? What Legends do you think need a buff? What Legends do you think need a nerf? Do you agree? Disagree? I'd love to hear all your discussions. And if you want to be part of this live, then please head on over to the Twitch channel in the link in the description. I'd love to see you over there. I go live every single day, Monday through Thursday. With all that being said, have a great day. I love you all. And remember, keep on whiffing.